In the session of question and answers on lipid metabolism, the question is, write a short note on hyperlipoproteinaemias. How do we define hyperlipoproteinaemias? The presence of high levels of one or more types of lipoproteins. Okay. So classification, it is primary and secondary. Primary means, so there is a genetic defect. The defect may be monogenic, single gene defect, or polygenic, multiple gene defects. And the secondary is caused by another disorder. It may be, so diabetes, okay, then nephrotic syndrome or chronic alcoholism. Okay. Here, let us see the classification. The classification, it is called Fredrickson classification of primary hyperlipoproteinemias. There are 5 types are there. Type 1, it is autosomal recessive, lack of or deficiency of lipoprotein lipase. Deficiency of lipoprotein lipase. It manifests in young age. Okay. So, in the investigation aspect, when you carry out electrophoresis, chylomicron band in fasting plasma sample. In fasting plasma sample, chylomicrons shall be deficient. But here they are seen. Okay. Then manifestations are, okay, hepatosplenomegaly, okay, eruptive xanthoma. What are xanthomas? The deposition of lipids in subcutaneous tissue leads to xanthomas. These are eruptive, small, itchy, yellow nodules associated with the deposition of triglycerides. Okay, so when they disappear when the lipid levels fall. So these are eruptive xanthoma. Okay, then the next one is Celiphamia Retinalis. Okay, then deposition of lipids in retina and abdominal pain. Then type 2. So type 2, again you can have type 2A, type 2B. So in the type 2A, there is a primary and secondary. Primary, it is called Familial Hypercholesterolemia. Okay, it is autosomal dominant. What is the defect? There is a lack of LDL receptors in peripheral tissues. What will be the result? There will be increase in plasma LDL that ultimately leads to the increase in plasma cholesterol. The afflicted person seldom survives second decade of life due to ischemic heart disease. Okay, in this, the secondary reasons for this development of type 2A is, it is seen in hypothyroidism, diabetes mellitus, nephrotic syndrome, and cholestasis. Okay, then type 2B. So here there is an increased serum cholesterol, triacylglycerol. So excessive production of ApoB that will lead to the increase in LDL and VLDL. Okay, then the next one is type 3. It is autosomal dominant, increased LDL. So it is also known as floating B disease. It is known as floating B disease. Why it is called? When you carry out the ultracentrifugation of the serum, the beta lipoprotein floats. And when you carry out electrophoresis, so there is broad B band. Okay, what are the manifestations? So there are palmar xanthomas. Okay, there are palmar xanthomas. Then, so there is an increase in the incidence of vascular diseases. Type 4, familial endogenous hypertriglyceridemia. It is autosomal dominant. Production and secretion of triacylglycerol is increased. So VLDL is increased. It may be associated with diabetes mellitus, obesity, and impaired glucose tolerance. There are high glucose levels in the blood. Okay. The next one is type 5. It is autosomal dominant. So there is an increase in the serum chylomicrons, VLDL, triacylglycerol. Why they are increased? So because of secondary causes. What are these secondary causes? They may be obesity, excessive alcohol intake, renal failure, and pancreatitis. These are the secondary causes in which there will be increase in lipid parameters. Okay. Now, let us just take the brief account of these various lipoproteinaemias Fredrickson classification. Okay. So again, in the tabular form, we will discuss type, metabolic defect, clinical presentation. So type 1. So lipoprotein lipase deficiency that leads to the increase in serum chylomicrons and triacylglycerol. Hepatosplenomegaly, pain in abdomen, xanthomas. Okay. Then type 2. There are lack of LDL receptors, so that will lead to the increase in serum LDL and cholesterol. So it will lead to the atherosclerosis and coronary artery disease. Okay. Then type 2B, ApoB and LDL, cholesterol, triacylglycerol, VLDL, they are increased. So there is a development of atherosclerosis, coronary artery diseases, corneal arcus. What is corneal arcus? Deposition of lipids in cornea. Okay, presence of corneal arcus in people below 40 years of age is indicative of elevated cholesterol levels. Okay, then type 3, abnormal ApoE, increased ApoC2, increased chylomicrons, cholesterol, triacylglycerol and VLDL. It will lead to the development of vascular diseases. Okay. Then type 4, there is an increase in ApoC2, excess production of VLDL, increased cholesterol and triacylglycerol. So there will be development of coronary artery disease. Type 5, there is an increase in the chylomicron, triacylglycerol, VLDL levels. Okay, it is mostly due to the secondary problems like diabetes, nephrotic syndrome and alcohol intake, obesity. Okay, then so there will be increased chances of development of heart diseases. These are various aspects of hyperlipoproteinemias. Okay, thank you very much.